You know, spring fishing, for me, here's a little tip that I tell everybody is, just because there's fish on the bank and they're easier to catch, doesn't mean that's where all the fish are. I think sometimes when the fish first move up, it's all of our tendencies, including myself, to go down the bank and catch them, catch them, catch them. But most of the time, the big schools of fish and the biggest fish are sitting one cast off the bank, and they'll bite if you throw a lure to them. They're the hardest to find, but sometimes the easiest to catch. Is just back off just a little and hunt a group of them. I finally got one to pick my crankbait up. I'm throwing a DT10. And it's not a bad fish, and it's what it is, it's on a little old bitty point in the back of a creek. Don't you get my hook in my hand. Don't you do it. That's what will get you in the tournament right there. But you can see the bait I'm throwing is a crawfish color DT10. I think they actually call it mule. And I'm just easing around, and I got to that point, I could feel the rocks. And I said, I hung, and I went there and got it. I said, there really should be a fish on them rocks because it's right here in the back of a pocket. But that's what it's all about. It was my first bite, my first key. So I'm gonna put this fish in a live well. I'm gonna move around and try to duplicate that again. It's my favorite. I missed him. You see how hard he hit that? Good gracious. He lit that bait up. Oh yeah, he's out here, I see him now. You can see the little point that sticks out. We're right in the back of a cove, or a pocket in the back of a creek, and you can see this gravel point come out here. It comes out 3 to 4 foot, and right out there where I caught the fish is about 7 foot deep, but it had some boulders. I could see them on the screen, and what that is, that's the perfect staging place. I mean, I got buckbrush, willow trees. If the water gets high, the fish are gonna be right in there spawning. That is a perfect staging area for bass. Sometimes you think you need the creek channel and the perfect picture. You don't. You just need a few pieces of structure where a fish can sit content until it's time to spawn. And this being right here in the back of the pocket, kind of sticks out. Deep water coming right into it. Key spot. Key spot. There he is right there, see? Key spot. It's a good one too. That might be a big one, dude. That's a big one. Yeah. I barely got him hooked. Man, when you barely got him hooked like this in a tournament, it's nerve-wracking. And see, I'm not even playing my drag. I've got the spool mashed. I got the spool mashed. I'm not even letting him pull the drag. I'm letting him do it with my finger because I just barely got him hooked. So I play that down like that. And I work this fish in position just like I was in a tournament. And I played him down, and I want to get right here and then just lift him up, just like that. And to me, that's the key. I mean, you can see when I was talking about why I was playing that fish. Look at this. One little old hook. One little old hook. And I think cranking, when you're cranking fish, when you get that strike and you get that fish to come up and you can see him, first thing you need to do is look to where the bait is hooked. Look, if he doesn't have it inside the mouth and he's not super hooked good, take your time with him. Now, I'm not saying run all around the boat like Ike. Just take your time with him. That's another nice fish off this point. I'm gonna save him, see what we can do with our stringer right here, and I'm gonna get right back up and catch us another one. What do you think? When you talk about springtime cranking, there's a couple things you gotta consider. You know, your water temperature dictates the action you want on the bait. Do you want a super wide wobbling action or tight action? Well, in the spring, for me, I like really tight, the tight action baits, whether it's it could be a Zoom handmade wooden crankbait, a Rapala, a DT6 or a 10, they're wooden baits. And when we say tight action, the bill size and the way the bait is, the body size, it's not super wobbling. It's not coming through the water, moving all kind of erratic. It's a really tight action. To me, in cold water, that's what fish respond to the best because that's the way most of the bait fish are moving. It's pretty tight. They're not running everywhere. As the water warms, then I'll loosen that up a little bit. You know, I'll come in with some, you know, maybe a bigger square lip, Lucky Craft BDS3 or something with a lot more vibration in it. But when it's cold, I'm a DT6, DT10, Shad Rap, the EC1 baits. The wooden baits, to me, if it's under 55 degrees, I'm gonna be throwing a wooden bait if any way possible, you know. And that fish had it right.